Hello everyone, in this video we are just going to control the onboard blue LED available in the Node MCU with the help of voice commands from Google Assistant. Like this. Okay Google, turn on the light.
Blue light turned on.
Okay Google, turn off the light.
Blue light turned off.
Let's get started. So initially, let's try to understand the concept that we are going to build for this project. So we are just going to use several web services in this project, and one of the web services is, as usual, we are just going to use talkback of the Thingspeak IoT platform for controlling the LED in the Node MCU. And here you can see the transmitted device is nothing but the mobile phone with Google Assistant application installed, and we are just going to configure the commands in the Google Assistant with the help of another web service called IFTTT. And this Node MCU right over here in the right is the receiver IoT device, and in this Node MCU we are just going to write a program for turning on the LED and turning off the LED by the commands available over here in the talkback queue of Thingspeak IoT platform. So as usual, as we did in the previous lecture of controlling the LED from another Node MCU, we are just going to write the same program for controlling this onboard LED with the help of commands available over here in the talkback queue of Thingspeak IoT platform. So I'm just going to write a program in this Node MCU for continuously reading the command string available in this talkback queue with a particular command ID. And if I read the command string to be L1, I will be turning on the blue LED that is already available on board in the Node MCU, which is connected to D0 of the Node MCU. And if I receive the command L2, or if I read the command L2 to be available in the talkback queue, I will turn off the same LED which is connected to D0 of the Node MCU. So this LED that I'm talking about is already available in the Node MCU, so we need not add additional LEDs for glowing and turning off. And that's all about the receiver section of the project. We are just going to write a program in this Node MCU for continuously reading the talkback command available in a particular command ID. If I receive L1, I will be turning on the LED, and if I receive L2, I will be turning off the LED which is connected to D0 of the Node MCU, that is the onboard LED. And regarding the transmitter part, we are just going to use a Google Assistant mobile application as the transmitter now, right? So we are just going to configure this Google Assistant with another web service called IFTTT. So in this IFTTT, we are just going to configure two web requests. One is for turning on the LED and another one is for turning off the LED. That is, if I say turn on the light in the Google Assistant, I will be configuring this IFTTT for sending a put request for updating the command L1 to this talkback queue. So we have already learned how to send a put request for updating a command in the talkback queue, right? We are just going to do that with the help of this another web service IFTTT. We are just having that put request in the Thingspeak IoT platform. We are just going to use that request in this web service for sending that with the help of the Google Assistant. And similarly, if I say turn off the LED, we will be configuring another request with this IFTTT for sending a put request for updating the command L2 over here. So that's it. This is the project overview. That is, whenever I say turn on the light to the Google Assistant in my phone through my voice command, I will be configuring this IFTTT for sending a put request for updating the command L1 in this talkback queue for a particular command ID. And once updated, you can see this receiver node MCU is continuously reading the command ID, that is the same command ID for the command string. And if it is receiving L1, we will be turning on the LED as per the program. So the LED which is connected to D0 of the Node MCU will be turned on, that is the blue LED will be turned on. And for the second case, for the second request, if I tell to this Google Assistant that turn off the light, I will configure this IFTTT for sending a put request for updating the command to be L2. And as the same case, if the L2 is received, we will be programming this Nodemcu in such a manner that if L2 is received, we will turn off the LED. So this is the logic. This is the overview of the logic that we are going to build. We will be configuring the Google Assistant phrases with the help of IFTTT, and if you say turn on the light to this Google Assistant, this IFTTT will be sending a put request for updating the command L1, and this receiver Nodemcu will be continuously reading the command string from the same command ID which we are updating using this IFTTT, and if we receive L1, we will be turning on the LED, that is the blue LED which is connected to D0 of the Nodemcu. And if I say turn off the light to this Google Assistant, I will be configuring this IFTTT for another request, and it will be sending a put request for updating the command L2 to the talkback queue available over here. And similarly to this receiver Nodemcu, we will be programming in such a manner that if we receive L2 here, we will be turning off the LED which is connected to D0 of the Nodemcu. So in such a manner, we will be controlling the blue LED which is already available on board to this Nodemcu using our voice commands in our mobile application Google Assistant. Let's build this project step by step. Now let's try to configure this IFTTT and Google Assistant for sending a put request for updating the commands available in this talkback Thingspeak IoT platform. So for opening that, just type in IFTTT in the Google and enter into this ifttt.com, and here you just want to create a free account in this ifttt.com, and you can just manually create it with Google, Facebook or Apple ID, and you will be getting an email verification, and then if you click on that, you will be created up with the new account in this IFTTT. And after creating that, just click on this create button in the top right corner, and in this if this, click on this add. Now we are just going to configure several phrases for turning on and turning off the LED with the help of Google Assistant. So by technically you can say that we are just going to send a put request with our IFTTT web services for updating the talkback command available over here in this Thingspeak IoT platform, right? So this is a talkback queue available in this Thingspeak IoT platform that we have already created, and using this put request, we have been changing the command over here, whether it is a L1 or L2. We used this put request, put HTTP request for changing the command or for updating the command. We are just going to use the same put request, but this time we are just going to send that with the web service called IFTTT with the help of Google Assistant mobile application from our mobile phone. So here I'm just typing in Google. You can see, just click on this Google Assistant, and I'm just going to show you how you can configure the Google Assistant phrases. So there are many kinds of variants available. Say a simple phrase, say a phrase with a number, say a phrase with a text ingredient, say a phrase with both a number and a text ingredient. I just want this, so I'm just clicking on this say a simple phrase, then click on this connect button, then in your email ID you just want to verify this Google account, just click on this allow, that's it. Then the Google will allow you to connect this IFTTT account with your Google account so that you can tell and ask the Google Assistant for sending the required request from this IFTTT. And here you just want to type in what you want to say. So I just want to say turn on the light. And secondly, here you can give another sentence for doing the same action. Turn the light on. And thirdly, you can give another sentence, light on. And here you just want to give a response from the Google Assistant what it must say if you tell this sentence available over here. If I say turn on the light, the Google Assistant must do the web request, and after that it must say blue light turned on, and that's it. Just click on the trigger, and we have successfully created the first phrase for turning on the light. And actually after this we just want to create the web request, right? We just want to send this put request for updating the command L1 when I say turn on the light to the Google Assistant. So for that, just click on this then that add button right over here, and here search for webhooks. So this is a service in this IFTTT for sending a HTTP request as we did using the Postman. This is similar kind of application like Postman for sending web requests to several web services in the world. Just click on this, and here click on make a web request, click on connect. Here also you just want to link the Gmail account, and after that you just want to provide the URL what do you want to send. So for updating this, we just want to send this put request along with the concatenation of the command string, right? So for that we just copied that and I'm pasting it over here. Here I'm just going to give a question mark, and as usual I'm just going to add the concatenation string command underscore string is equal to, I just want to send or update the command string with L1 for turning on the light available in the receiver Nodemcu, right? So I'm just giving L1. So if I send this put request, I'm just changing here to be the HTTP request method to be put, and if I send this put request, the L1 will be updated over here in this talkback, right? So in this command ID position, I just want to change the command ID available over here 233333827. So I'm just pasting this over here, and you can see this is the talkback ID that we have created over here, and this is the API key that is available over here, and this one is the command ID particularly to which we will be changing the command whether L1 or L2. So these three things will be varying in your URL that is available in your browser over here. You can find this put request in the talkback tab. So this will be varying in your case, so you just want to carefully view that. And here in this content type, just select this application/x form URL encoded, and after that click on this create action and then click on continue and then click on finish, and you can see in my applet we have successfully created the first applet for turning on the LED, that is for changing the command over here. So when I say turn on the light or light on to my Google Assistant, which is linked to this IFTTT, I will be getting this command string available in this command ID 233333827 to be L1. So nextly, as I said, we are just going to create two applets in this IFTTT, one for turning on and one for turning off. That is one for updating the command L1 and one for updating the command L2, that is for turning off the LED. So we have successfully created first one. So I'm just going to the second one for creating the applet for turning off the LED. Just click on this create, and here click on this add, and now also just search for Google Assistant, and similarly click on this say a simple phrase. Here I'm just typing in turn off the light, and another way let's take it to be turn the light off, and third way I'm just giving it to be light off. Here when I say this phrase, the Google Assistant must respond with the phrase blue light turned off. Then click on create trigger. Now as usual we are just going to create the webhooks for this phrase. Just type in webhooks Click on this make a web request. Here we just want to paste the same URL as we did before, and here I just want to copy the command ID and I want to paste it over here in this place of command ID, and here I just want to give a question mark between the API key and the JSON. And at the end, as usual, we just want to add the command string to be L2 for turning off the blue light available in the Nodemcu, that is the receiver Nodemcu, or for updating the command L2 over here in the command ID to 3333827. Here change the method to be put request. As we know, we just want to send a put request for updating the talkback command, and here content type is as usual form URL encoded. Then click on create action and then click on this continue and click on finish. And now click on this my applets. You can see we have successfully created two applets in this IFTTT. First one is for updating the command L1 and second one is for updating the command L2 to the same talkback queue available over here. So the talkback queue with the command ID 233333827 will be updated with the command string L1 when I say turn on the light to my Google Assistant app available in my mobile phone. And when I say turn off the light, the command over here will be updated with the command string L2. So that's it. We have completed the transmitter section of the project. So we have successfully configured the IFTTT and Google Assistant for sending a put request for updating the command L1 as well as L2. So now you just want to install the Google Assistant app in your mobile phone, whether it is an Android or an iOS. You can find that for free in your app store. Just install that and then log in with the same email address that you have logged on with this IFTTT. So that is a must. You just want to log in with the same account, same Gmail account that you have used for logging in with this IFTTT.com. So you just want to do that. And now let's test these two applets using our mobile application Google Assistant by giving the voice commands, whether we are able to change the command string available over here in our Thingspeak IoT platform. So we are just going to test the transmitter section only, that is this section only, and then we will move on to the receiver section for programming the Nodemcu for reading the talkback command available over here in the talkback queue of Thingspeak IoT platform. So now you can see you just want to install this Google Assistant app in your mobile phone, either it is a iOS or an Android mobile phone. You can find this mobile application in your application store or app store. Just install this and then open this. The name of the app is Google Assistant. You may be knowing about it. And now just click on this and you just want to log in with the same mail address that you have given in the IFTTT web services that we configured, right? And then now after logging in, then you can directly pause on the phrase that we have given there for controlling the talkback command available over here in the talkback of the Thingspeak web services. Now let's check whether the command over here is changing in the talkback when I give the phrase in the Google Assistant. Okay Google, turn on the light.
Blue light turned on.
Now the command is L1 in the command ID 233333827. To make it L2, we just want to turn off the light, right? So I'm just turning off the light. Okay Google, turn off the light.
Blue light turned off.
So this must make the command over here to be L2. I'm just refreshing this page. You can see the command has been changed successfully. And now we are just able to control the talkback command available in this command ID with the help of Google Assistant from our mobile phone. To make it L1 again, I'm just going to OK Google, turn on the light.
Blue light turned on.
Now it must have been made L1. You can see L1 has been made in the command string over here in the talkback ID. So we have successfully completed the first step of changing the command from our Google Assistant, and now let's try to program our Nodemcu for turning on and turning off the LED available in the Nodemcu based on the command, that is the talkback command available over here in the same command ID 233333827. So let's program our Nodemcu for doing that. Now that we have completed with the transmission section of the project, that we have successfully configured the Google Assistant with the help of IFTTT for sending the voice command and for sending the put request for updating the talkback queue available in the Thingspeak IoT platform. Now we are just going to program this Nodemcu for continuously reading the command available in this particular command ID of the talkback queue available in the Thingspeak IoT platform. So here you can see we are just going to use the same program that we used in the previous project. That is, in the previous project we just control the LED available in the IoT receiver Nodemcu with the help of push buttons in the IoT transmitter Nodemcu, right? So in that we used a program for reading the talkback commands available in this talkback queue of Thingspeak server, and we are just going to use the same program for the IoT receiver, that is this program. You can see I'm just going to explain this program a little bit for you, and I have provided this program in the download button below this video. And if you are watching this video in the YouTube, you just want to enter my smtrainingacademy.com and then you want to enroll for the required course, and each lecture is provided with the download button, and you can download the resources for that lecture in the download button below each lecture. And let's get on. Now you can see we are just going to use several headers as usual. We are just using these headers from the beginning stage of the course, and here regarding the programming logic, you can see I'm just continuously sending a get request for reading the command available over here in the talkback queue, and for that we have written a get command function, and this command function will be sending a get request to this Thingspeak IoT platform, and using that get request we are just fetching the command available over here in this particular command ID with the help of this function call. So this function call will be storing the command in this command string variable. You can see we are just sending a get request using this line, and using this we are just fetching the HTTP status, and if it is true we are just getting the response from the IoT platform Thingspeak, and after that we are just isolating the command whether it is L1, L2, L3, L4, and we are storing that to another variable called result, that is also a string variable, and here we are just returning the result variable. So this function will be returning the data command that is fetched from the talkback queue available over here. And also you can see in this link the talkback ID is 42886, which is the talkback ID over here, and the command ID is 233333827. You can see this is the same command ID which we have used before, and the API key of the talkback is available over here, that is also shown over here. You can see that is also same. So you just want to change all these three things because you will be having a different API key, talkback ID as well as the command ID. For each of the talkback that you create, you will be provided with the talkback ID and API key, and for each command that you create, you will be provided with the command ID for the each command. So you just want to change these three things in this function. And regarding the logic, you can see if I get the command L1, I will be turning on the LED which is connected to D0. You can see I'm just turning on the D0 LED by making the pin low. We know that the cathode of the LED is connected to D0, so for turning on we just want to make the particular pin low. And if I receive L2 as the command, I just want to turn off the LED, so I'm just making the pin high for turning off the LED. and then I'm just printing that string that I got onto the serial monitor. And in the initialization part, you can see I'm just initializing the serial monitor with a certain baud rate, and then I'm just configuring the D0, that is the LED pin, as output for turning on and turning off the LED. And after that, I'm just calling another function, which is the basic function that we wrote in the beginning stage of the course, that is the connect to Wi-Fi function. And this is the function which is useful for connecting our Nodemcu to the Wi-Fi router available in my home. And in this function, you just want to change this SSID of the Wi-Fi router and the password of the Wi-Fi router. And in your case, it may be varying, and if you are not having a Wi-Fi router, you can just turn on the hotspot in your mobile phone, and then you just want to give the username of the mobile and then password of the mobile over here for having the internet access to the Nodemcu. And that's it. That's all the things that you want to change. You just want to change the SSID of the router, that is the username of the router, and then the password of the router. And here you just want to change the talkback ID and command ID and the API key. And you need not change all these things. You just want to directly copy this get request available over here, and you can directly paste it. And here also you can see you just want to change the command ID string available over here with the required command that you want to read. So this is the program that I'm going to write to the Nodemcu. It will be continuously reading the command from the talkback queue available over here with the particular command ID 2333827. And if I receive L1, I will be turning on the LED, and if I receive L2, I will be turning off the LED. And after that, I'm just printing that to the serial monitor, and here I'm just waiting for 1 second, that is 1000 millisecond. And once for every 1 second, this reading process will be held. This get request will be sent from the Nodemcu to the Thingspeak server, and we will be receiving the command to the command string variable over here. And once for every 1 second, this process happens, and we will be turning on and turning off the LED based on the command read from the Nodemcu. So I am just connecting my Nodemcu, and I am uploading the program to the Nodemcu. Now that the program has been successfully uploaded to the, now you can see we have successfully completed the transmitter part for sending a put request for updating the talkback queue available over here with the required command when we say a particular phrase in the Google Assistant mobile application. And secondly, we have successfully programmed the Nodemcu for continuously reading the commands available in the same command ID that we are updating here in the transmitter part. And if we receive the command L1 in the particular command ID from which we are reading, we will be turning on the blue LED which is already available on board in the Nodemcu, which is connected to D0. And if we receive the command L2, we will be turning off the same LED available in the Nodemcu. And here also we have created two web requests, one for updating the command L1 when I say turn on the light, and one for updating the command L2 to the same particular command ID in the talkback queue when I say the phrase turn off the light. So from our mobile application Google Assistant voice command, we can control the LED available in this Nodemcu over the internet. So this can be done from any part of the world, whether it may be available in some other region of the world and this mobile phone is available in some other region of the world. But if you say the particular phrase, the LED will be turned on in this Nodemcu, and if I say the turn off the light, the LED will be turned off in this Nodemcu. So this is the full-fledged IoT project using voice command from Google Assistant. So let's test this project. So now let's see the output in my hardware. So I'm just opening the Google Assistant. You just want to install this Google Assistant app in your mobile phone. I'm just opening it, and then you just want to log into your email account that you have configured in the IFTTT web application. And after that, you can directly tell the commands to this Google Assistant. You can see, okay Google, turn on the blue light.
find any lights that can change color. You can add them in assistant settings.
Okay Google, turn on the light.
Blue light turned on.
You can see the blue light in my Nodemcu has been turned on. Okay Google, turn off the light.
Blue light turned off.
And that's it. You can see this is the output that I got in my hardware. Okay Google, turn on the light.
Blue light turned on.
Okay Google, okay Google, turn off the light.
Blue light turned off.
Okay Google, turn on the light.
Blue light turned on.
Okay Google, turn off the light.
Blue light turned off.
Okay Google, turn on the light.
Blue light turned on.
Okay Google, okay Google, turn off the light.
Blue light turned off.
So this is how you can use the Google Assistant for controlling the LED in our Nodemcu. And you can use any kind of programming logic for controlling anything using Google Assistant with the help of programming in Nodemcu. See you in the next lecture. Thanks for watching.